habits. There are good habits and there are bad habits. And I would encourage you to work on the good habits and eliminate the bad habits. And we all fall into habitual behavior and habits. Even me, this week, I had a conversation with Dan where he pointed out that something I was doing with respect to following the QLA steps was wrong. So after 27 years, I can still make mistakes. So I corrected that and got in a habit of doing the process the right way with a step that I wasn't doing as well as I could on the roll-up that we're working. So I'd encourage you to take a look at your habits, and there's a lot of things you can do to improve the situation. First of all, make sure that your actions are those that are going to move you to your goal. So every night, get into the habit of writing down what are the things tomorrow that are going to move the needle the most. Write them in priority. I've referred to that as the Ivy Lee method. And then go ahead and work on the first one first, complete it, and then move on from there. If you get into that habit of planning each day, you will find it's an amazing tool that will help you with your progress. A lot of us would never think of letting someone reach in our pocket or purse and take money out. But with respect to time, that's not the same thing. You'll be on conversations that are waste of time, but you'll still keep on the conversation because you don't want to be rude. I would encourage you in that case to remember that you will never get that time back. So cut those conversations short. Don't continue them just to end up pleasing the other person, and move on to a more productive call, activity, etc. One of the things that in the Deep Dive Boot Camps I asked people to do was to write their obituary. And I'd encourage you to go write your obituary, or if you have already done that, go back and look at it. And a lot of people suggested doing it two ways. One, what's my obituary on the current path I'm on, and what's my obituary on the path that I would want to be on with respect to QLA, and look at those two differences. And then go back and say, okay, what I've done so far has worked, so I want to do more of it, or it's not working, so I want to change what I'm doing and get into the habit. It's interesting to see how quickly you can change a habit. For instance, if you work out in the morning and you end up saying, okay, I'm going to get up every morning at 5 a.m., the first thing I'm going to do is work out for a period of time. After about 21 days, that will be a habit, and you'll actually feel that when you miss it if you do. So I'd encourage you to do the same things. Write your obituary, look at your obituary, look at your goals, convert those into affirmations, read those twice a day, certainly. And knowing the steps to do is absolutely critical. In a nutshell, those are: come up with an idea, end up building a dream team around that idea to augment the talents that you don't have or the experience you don't have, get professionals on a deferred, delayed success fee basis, end up then warming up financial institutions. How are they lending? What LOI are they lending at? That's important because what EBITDA multiple are they lending at? That's important because you're going to take that and use that when you construct a letter of intent, which you're going to work with your professionals on. So it's important to talk to banks. What are they lending at? What purchase price do they think is appropriate based on the EBITDA? What are the parameters, recourse, non-recourse, et cetera, et cetera? And be sure that you understand that. That will also help you when you're talking to a seller. They want 10 times multiple, and you can say you've talked to 20 banks. Just to enlighten them on those discussions, they're lending at a 3 times multiple of EBITDA. So good luck at 10 times, but that's not what the marketplace is saying. So you have some ammunition also to work on that. If you don't know what the steps are, go back and learn what those steps are. An easy way to do that, I think, is the Deep Dive Bootcamp recordings, brucewhipple.com/Deep Dive Bootcamp, and you can see what's in that those bootcamp recordings, and I think that will help you certainly. But I had someone on a Facebook Live Q&A this week that the first question, and it was actually the first question in the Q&A, is how do I sell my business? When they don't have an idea, a dream team, professionals, or an acquisition or a business. So Look at what's in front of you through the windshield on the road. Don't look 10 miles down. Follow the next step, complete the next step. When you get that done, move to the next one, then move to the next step, then move to the next step. But remember the power of habits in getting into good habits. And if you do that and you do it consistently and you get into the habit of working on the things that'll move the needle the most, kissing frogs every day, have a goal of what that is, whether that's letters, cold calls, emails, texts, etc. If you start tracking those and you have goals, you're going to be surprised at how fast things turn around for you, I believe.